The San Antonio Spurs made another great move as they added another big man to their roster, acquiring Kelly Olynyk from the Wizards in exchange for Malachi Branham, Blake Wesley, and a 2026 second-round pick. As you look at Olynyk, he is going to bring veteran presence to this young Spurs team, but also he's going to bring a different dynamic than the other big that the Spurs brought in Luke Kornet. Olynyk can space the floor. Olynyk split time last season between the Raptors and Pelicans, and he averaged 8.7 points and shot a career best 41.8% from three. That is going to help a Spurs team that needs to get better with their shooting from beyond the arc, as Olynyk is the Spurs' second big man addition of the offseason alongside Luke Kornet, who came in from Boston after he signed a 4-year, $41 million deal. Both of these bigs offer different skill sets, as Kornet, he's a 7'2" center who's more of a rim protector and finisher, while Olynyk, he's a skilled stretch big. And they're going to provide the Spurs with a variety of front court looks, either behind or potentially with Victor Wembanyama. And having some front court depth was something that the Spurs needed to address going into their offseason, and they did exactly that, as they have two nice options in Kornet and now Olynyk. As the Spurs, they have built real front court depth behind Wembanyama with both of these moves, signing Kornet and trading for Olynyk, and I really like this latest move for the Spurs. Do me a solid, guys, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel, Spurs fans, for more content just like this. We're so close to 40K. If y'all can help me hit that, it would be greatly appreciated. So the Spurs, just like that, have had a phenomenal offseason. They absolutely aced the NBA draft, bringing in Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant. And you look at what the Spurs were able to do overall, all of a sudden you got the updated Spurs rotation. You're looking at Fox, Castle, Vassell, Barnes, Wemby, then Harper, Champagnie, Johnson, Bryant, Sohan, Olynyk, and Kornet. This is a deep Spurs team just like that. This is a very sound and talented 12-man rotation. And the players that they did bring in outside of the draft, talking about Kornet and Olynyk, both of these guys are the ultimate professional. Both of these guys are going to play hard, and they just scream Spurs guys. Like, these are players that are going to fit into the culture, do the little things, be unselfish, help their teammates, and do what they are asked to do. And overall, the Spurs, their roster hasn't changed much through free agency, but they got a lot of talent. Now, with that, we'll add pressure on Harper and Castle to develop as three-point shooters to boost the Spurs offense, which ranked 19th at 36% in three-point accuracy last season. But you look at what the Spurs have built, they got a lot of great young players like Bryant and Harper to thrive on both ends. And you got Wemby, Kornet, Castle, Sohan. I mean, this defense looks like it's going to be very, very special. The offense, there's question marks, of course, because of the three-point shooting. But if guys can develop and they're able to implement a three-point shot and that three-point shooting comes along, obviously adding a guy like Olynyk is going to help with that. This Spurs team, they can be very, very dangerous in the West. I think at the very least, their defense is going to be terrific, and I think it's going to approach a top 10 ranking. And this is a defense that hasn't approached the top 10 ranking since 2018. But I think they have the pieces to do that. Of course, it's hard to forecast just how far this team can go with a healthy Wembanyama until you actually see what they can do. But you look at the talent that they brought in with the draft. Wemby's going into his third season. This is going to be his first full season with De'Aaron Fox. You got Stephon Castle coming off winning the Rookie of the Year. It seems to me the Spurs are ready to take a massive jump. Obviously, you're going to have the OKC Thunder, defending champs. Houston made a lot of nice moves this offseason. Same goes for the Denver Nuggets. But San Antonio, in its current state, they could push forward to that upper tier. And what's special about this bunch compared to, teams like the Nuggets and the Rockets, who actually went out there and made moves, the Spurs are going to inch their way into that next tier through internal development. And that's why it's so difficult to forecast how good this team can be. They can take a massive jump, the same type of jump we saw OKC take not too long ago, where you have all of these young guys blossom together, and it could just, with the right mix of veteran play, you know, obviously guys like Fox, Olynyk, going to be a solid locker room guy, really getting the young guys in check. San Antonio, they look poised to go out there and compete. And I think their latest move for Olynyk suggested that they're ready to go for it. They needed another big. They added a veteran big to a very young team. And this is a very enticing team in a West that is going to be stacked, is going to be difficult. But the Spurs, they have put themselves in a nice position where they can take a giant step forward with the current roster that they have. And also, they still have the ammo to potentially acquire a big superstar like Antetokounmpo if that opportunity presents itself. So they are very flexible here. The Spurs, they have prioritized that flexibility. They have their young group, and they have that possibility. They have that option of making a big trade down the line if they wish to. We all thought that big trade was going to happen this offseason, but the Spurs, instead, they made moves around the margins. Obviously, their terrific A+ draft helped them, but they didn't have to go out there and do something crazy this free agency. They made the right necessary moves, and that was basically highlighted by their most recent trade for Olynyk, and I think this was a really excellent trade. They traded a couple of guys who crowded their guard room, and they got something that they really needed. They got another big man to fill out that center rotation, that center depth, that front court depth that you need behind Victor Wembanyama. Again, these guys in Kornet and Olynyk, they can play either behind Wemby or even with Wemby. I mean, Olynyk can definitely, you know, be in lineups with Wemby with his ability to space the floor and hit the three. As, again, he is coming off a career best 41.8% from downtown. So you know that's something that definitely caught the Spurs' interest when they made this deal. So the San Antonio Spurs, they absolutely had a phenomenal offseason, and I praise them for not gutting their roster, jumping to make that big move right away. Instead, they have an ecosystem of very good young players, and there's a lot of internal development that needs to happen, but the clear path is there for this team to really take a step forward collectively and be a special squad for this season. And their future is as bright as ever. They have flexibility for a big move down the line, and this is a team that I think is going to be a fun one in the West. And if I were to bet on a team to be the surprise team of this upcoming season, a team that takes the most significant step forward, I would go all in on the San Antonio Spurs because I absolutely love what they have just done. So let me know, Spurs fans, how are you feeling about this team? Are you optimistic? Let me know how you think the Spurs are going to do this season. Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. That is it for me. It's Luke signing off. Thanks so much for watching. I will catch you all again in the next one.